Baby, Rampage shushed A Quiet Place to the tune of $34 million. We're going to talk about Proud Mary, Truth or Dare, and so much more. Stay tuned. Hey! I left the... Left a good job in the city. Yes, yes. Y'all, Proud Mary has been released on DVD, and Blu-ray this week. This is your host of Black Tomatoes, episode number 8, Carla Renata, and I am joined by...
Scott Menzel. How are you, Carla?
I'm doing great, especially now that I heard Miss Tina singing Proud Mary. That is my favorite song ever. So let me just hit that for a second.
Sure.
So I got invited to this. It wasn't a junket. I don't know what it was called, but they invited like maybe about 10 or 11 influencers to learn some stunts and self-defense moves from the stunt coordinators from the movie Proud Mary that specifically work with Taraji P. Henson.
Yeah.
And I was a mess because, I got a metal knee. So I was like, I don't want to hurt nobody and they growing with my metal knees. So there's that. But it was really, really lovely. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Cheryl Lewis for teaching me some moves, and for the Shields Women's Defense, Self-Defense office out in Culver City. Give them a shout out because they helped the sister out. And it was really cool. But having said that,
Sure.
When I watched Proud Mary, I had a whole new appreciation for what Taraji P. Henson was doing in that movie, because that stunt work is really hard. It's very precise, it's very crisp, it's very clean and sharp. And I can't even imagine. They said that they didn't work on her moves for that long to teach her how to do it. They said she's very fit and she just, her reflexes are very fast. So I was like, girl, big ups, because I was like, woo. What I was really excited about with Proud Mary when I actually watched the film, which is out on DVD and Blu-ray this week as of April 10th, is the fact that there was kind of like a little mini reunion between Margaret Avery and Danny Glover, who were Shug and Mr. in The Color Purple.
Very
so I was like, oh, Mr. and Shug from The Color Purple were in Proud Mary. I'm like, okay, what's that? How'd that gonna happen? And they were married in this movie, which is funny because in The Color Purple, they didn't get married. So he wanted to marry her, but it never happened. So I was like, oh, shout out to that. And then the dude from How to Get Away with Murder, Nate, he was in it. And there was this little boy. Now, I don't like ragging on a child, but I don't know how I felt about that little boy's acting. I was like, I don't know. He got better as the film went on, but at first I was like, yeah. I'm not sure about you. Taraji, it was Taraji, and the film was okay. Like it was okay. But what I will say is that it was kind of like a throwback to like the 70s, Cleopatra Jones, those types of films. It was really nice.
Pam Grier movies?
Yes, Pam Grier movie, Coffee, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It was really nice to see a black woman as the lead in an action figure movie. It was nice to see that. It was nice to see a cast of mostly African-American people. I just wish that the script for the film had been better and that it had been a better movie. But I enjoyed watching my peeps on the screen doing their thing, but I just really wish it had been a better movie.
I'll let you know what I think of it when I watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, you were going to lose your mind. But what you're really going to lose your mind about is when you go to the curvyfilmcritic.com and see those videos of me doing that self-defense, you're going to laugh your ass off.
Okay.
It's hilarious. So now that I've talked about Proud Mary, let's get into the movies for this week. So Rampage,
well, don't we want to talk about Greatest Showman real quick?
Oh,
because
right,
that's on Blu-ray.
Right.
Blu-ray.
Yes, sorry.
We are screwing up the names this week.
I know, we're screwing up the names left and right, but we're so excited. Scott has said on this show numerous times that he's seen The Greatest Showman at least like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I saw it 5 times in the movie theater.
Right. So he saw it 5 times in the movie theater. Last night, I was sitting with my mom. I'm like, and I was scrolling through the Apple TV thing. I was like, oh, Greatest Showman. Let's see what this is about. Zendaya's in it. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. I am all about The Greatest Showman. I am convinced they are going to take that and make it into a Broadway musical. Like it's already packaged and ready to go. And they could take it with the cast of the film. Like the people that are in the film know how to do stage. They know how to dance and sing. Kiala Settle was in Waitress. She did a couple of other movies. She did a couple of other Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman has been on Broadway numerous times. Zendaya's never been on Broadway, but that doesn't stop her.
And so is Zac
Efron. And then I was like, oh, the two Disney babies are together. I really, 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 really love that movie. I love the way it was shot. I loved all the music. I loved the costumes. I loved everything about it. The only thing that kind of had me going wah, 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 were two things. So the first thing was I wish that the storyline between Zac Efron's character and Zendaya's character was developed a little bit more.
Yep.
Because it was kind of like they met, they fell in love. You don't know what happened to them. You don't know what happened before they got there. You don't know what happened to them afterward. I was kind of like, I would have loved to have seen that play out a little bit more. But I know the film is not about them. It's about P.T. Barnum. So there's that. And then the other thing was, I found myself, it's a good thing I didn't see it in the theater. Because as I was watching it, I found myself wanting to Google everything that was of curiosity to me. So the thing that was the most curious to me was whether or not the young lady playing Jenny Lin was really singing.
Oh yeah.
And I found out she wasn't.
Right. Yes.
I found out she wasn't. Somebody was singing for her, but man, she did an awesome job lip singing. I'm like, she needs to be on Lip Sync Battle with that. That was great.
Well, the thing is, I know like how great that was. It really looked like she was singing.
I was like, she looks like she's singing. She is getting down.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, so the way they played out the relationship between Jenny Lin and P.T. Barnum in the movie is not really kind of how it happened. What actually happened was closer to what happened toward the end of their little relationship in the film. She came to visit him at his house in Connecticut, professing her undying love for him, and he was like, you know what, this is too much of a distraction for me. You gotta go.
Right.
That's what happened in real life, but in the movie it made it look like he just dumped his wife and his kids to go run off with this coloratura soprano, and I felt some kind of way about that.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, if you listen to the music, what I love, one of the many things that I love about this movie is that every one of the songs basically tells a story of what's going to happen next in the movie. So, you know, the whole thing, there's a constant back and forth between Hugh Jackman and Michelle Williams. It's like, when's enough going to be enough? You know, and then, you know, the song Never Enough comes on, and he just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And the final number, From Now On, it really gets to me, because it kind of gets to that point where he finally realizes that, you know, he wanted all these things. He wanted to make an impression. He wanted to go from rags to riches. And he went too far with it. And he left behind, you know, the group that pretty much started everything for him, and it really cared about him. And they all, you know, when they all sing together and in the bar
let's
scene.
talk about that moment.
Sure.
Not the bar scene, but the moment before that, when they come to the door and they want to celebrate, and he literally shuts the door in her face. I was like, ew.
Yeah.
Like, if it were not for this group of people, you wouldn't be in that room with these people celebrating. That was shady boots. I'm like, really, P.T. Barnum? That's Phineas was his name. Really, Finney?
Well, that, I mean, honestly, I thought, you know, the movie gets a lot of criticism for this fact that, like, it kind of highlights and shows him as a nice person, because apparently, like,
he was not.
He was not a very nice person. But I thought in a magical Hollywood type of way. You know, this is no one's ever saying, the studio never came out and said, this is the biopic, and it's going to follow it,
You're absolutely right.
beat by beat. It was like, we're just going to have a fun, feel-good musical, and that's exactly what it was. But, I mean, that's a great point. That scene there is great, but it also kind of shows him at that point, kind of, he turns on them, then he turns on his family, and it all kind of comes together, and it's all very quick. But it follows the formula of a Broadway musical perfectly.
It does.
Because they don't really spell stuff out in Broadway musicals. They just kind of like beat by beat by beat. Here's a song, we're going to sing about it. Next, move on.
No.
Yeah. And
this is the other thing. So in the beginning, when him and his wife meet, played by Michelle Williams, when they meet and they're dancing around, I was like, if this was me, I was like, who is that doll? She looks a lot like Michelle Williams, but does Michelle Williams really dance like that?
She's on Broadway too.
Who knew? Okay, I knew she was on Broadway, but I'm like, who knew she was dancing like that? I'm like, well, okay, Emma Stone, Volume 2. I was like, what is happening? She was killing me. She was twirling through them sheets. I'm like, well, go ahead, Michelle. I'm like, Michelle Williams is an anomaly, dude. Like, I don't know anybody else in Hollywood of her caliber that can do what she's doing. She's killing it.
Oh, yeah.
She can play anything.
She can. I mean, and it was so nice to see her in this movie because it was kind of like a lighter, upbeat movie for her. Like, we're so used to seeing her in
dark.
like Blue Valentine, really dark, serious, depressing movies.
But it's about to get dark again.
I know.
Because you know she's tied to the Janis Joplin biopic.
Yes.
She gonna win an Oscar for that. I haven't even seen the movie. I haven't seen the script. I don't even know what the movie's gonna be like. But I know if Michelle Williams is playing Janis Joplin, Michelle Williams gonna win an Oscar. That's what I know.
Yeah, she's
I hope she don't have no
incredible.
competition because it'll be ugly.
But yeah, this movie was just a wonderful celebration of dreamers and diversity and imagination, and you should watch it again. Like, it's one of those movies you can just keep watching over
definitely.
over and over again.
I'm waiting for it to come to Broadway because if it
Yeah,
come to
I
Broadway,
know,
I will be in the front row.
I'm going too. I know.
I will be in the front
I
row
told
yelling
Fox,
and screaming and losing
I
my
said,
mind.
you know what? You better get me tickets.
I will be in the front row standing there losing my mind, losing it. Oh, Lord. It's between Proud Mary and freaking The Greatest Showman. I'm verklempt and just worn out already. And we just got started.
I know.
So, as I said in the intro, Rampage has literally shushed your favorite film, Quiet Place.
Right.
To the tune of $34 million. How you feeling about that?
I had a feeling, I was kind of going back and forth about this because I thought after I saw Rampage, I'll talk about that in a few seconds, but I didn't really quite know if it was going to be successful. And then I was like, nah, Quiet Place is going to keep having it until the Avengers movie comes out. But, I mean, they're so neck and neck. I mean, it could you never know. Tomorrow it could change. We can actually see the box office numbers when they're final tomorrow come up, and it might change.
Yeah, it can flip on a dime. It really can.
It really can.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But, I mean, listen, The Quiet Place almost had $100 million in 2 weeks on a $17 million budget. I don't know if people have been looking at this lately, but the box office numbers are very interesting to me because they're the smaller movies, the ones that have the smaller budgets, like under $50 million, seem to be dominating the box office. And then movies over the $50 million, of course, Black Panther, anything Marvel or Star Wars is going to,
Right.
knock everything out of the park.
Right.
But for the most part, they're barely getting by. They're barely crossing over.
Yeah, I mean, those really big budget action adventure movies, they do really well just because of the nature of the films. But these other films, you have to really engage the audience to be able to sustain that box office.
But I think it's interesting now because I think it's switching. Last week we talked about Netflix and how everyone was scared about the game changing. It's interesting because it's going back almost. I see it going back to the older days in the 80s and the 90s, where the lower budget movies are actually becoming a little bit more successful than most of the big budget movies.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that's the point I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
The bigger budget movies are going to have success because it's a built-in formula there. With the smaller budget movies, they don't have the built-in formula. So for those films to succeed and to even dominate the box office, the story has to be on point, the cast has to be on point, the picture, the script, everything about that film has to be right on the money, or it kind of does not have the opportunity to do what it's been doing. But you're absolutely right. The smaller budget movies have been taken over. And you know what? That's a really good thing.
Yes,
because
yes.
now Hollywood is getting the memo that you don't have to spend millions upon billions of dollars to entertain the public. We're entertained with the truth.
Yes.
We're entertained with the truth. But before we get, which segues me into truth or dare, but before I do that, I just need to say that our engineer, Marissa, said that she needed a Xanax after she saw A Quiet Place. So I just had to give, if y'all are looking, A Quiet Place is Warner Brothers?
No, it's Paramount.
Quiet Place, Paramount, if you're listening, just know that you got a quote right here at Black Tomatoes on Black Hollywood Live from Marissa. She says that she needed a Xanax when that film was over. So take heed to that and keep it moving. Now, moving on to Truth or Dare.
Sure.
Now, as I said, and I have said, and I will say numerous times, I do not do the scary, I do not do the horror. But Truth or Dare premiered this week, and you saw it, right?
Yes, I did. This is one where I think you would have been able to handle.
Really?
Yeah. we have the trailer, I guess, for this before we go into it.
Well, let's check it out.
Yeah.
Let's see if I'll be scared.
Play the game.
I dare you to sleep with him.
Then the game
It sounds insane, but the game is real.
plays you.
What is it making you do? Truth or dare?
Truth.
Yeah, no, I won't be able to see
People in
that.
this photo are not dead.
We can't win. Tell me what's going on.
I think you would be all right, honestly.
You survive this only if we trust each other. I need you to cut out your tongue.
Yeah, no. No, I won't be okay with that.
all right.
Because the music alone just gets me, and I'm just like, no.
There's not as much music in the movie.
I'm shaking my
Where
head.
do I start with this one? Jason Blum, who is behind Blumhouse, is without question one of the most brilliant people in Hollywood in terms of producing movies. I mean, he's the guy responsible for Get Out, as well as Insidious and, gosh, Conjuring, so many movies. And then every once in a while, not every once in a while, at least once a year, he comes out with a movie that's just completely freaking lazy. And he throws that out there, and Truth or Dare is that movie.
Wow.
Yes.
You threw him all the way. You threw him under the bus and ran over his throat with it.
He knows it, though. And I mean, I talk to him every year at Sundance. We talk. This is a guy who I go up to personally every time I'm at a film festival and I talk to, and I basically praise him at all of the success that he has had. But I'm always honest with him about what I feel about movies that he just makes. But he doesn't care. And the thing is that that's what a producer has to do. This, first of all, I'm not the target demo for this movie. This is a movie for teenagers. So if you're someone who likes, people talking on cell phones throughout the entire movie, texting each other and making jokes about Truth or Dare, this movie's probably for you. I think a lot of people are going to have some great laughs with this movie, but
One of our engineers here did.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guilty pleasure. I mean, it's wildly entertaining, but it's so freaking bad. It's poorly written, poorly acted, and then the ending is just basically like someone just went like this to you. It really
Wow.
is, and it's like, and it builds up to the inevitable, which is another one. So, this
Are there
one,
any redeeming
well,
qualities?
I want to talk about this because we were just talking about the box office. So the budget on this movie was $3.5 million. It made $19 million. That is a huge hit for them because even if you double it,
they barely made over half, right?
yeah, well, no, that's a huge hit. That's only they only had to make $7 million in order for this to be like double the marketing budget because the marketing budget's usually double with the actual budget of the film is. So this is already a huge hit, and there's nothing coming out really that much next week. It's
So
going to
they may continue.
It's going to continue. It's going to have a decent run. It's maybe going to end up with 30, 40 million. But on a $3.5 million budget, it's a hit. And that's why
Wow.
horror movies are so successful.
Because it costs very little to make, and they
Right.
make all their money back very quickly.
So I do want to say that Lucy Hale, who's the main lead in this movie, she's from Pretty Little Liars. She also has a show on the CW called Life Sentence, and I thought she was actually decent. She did a great job trying to hold this movie together, trying to make the dialogue work, trying to make the story work. But it's just so ridiculous and so cliched of like, teenage stuff like Truth or Dare, like I dare you to sleep with my best friend kind of stuff. And it's like, but I will say if you're a teenager, get a whole bunch of friends together and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Truth or Dare never involved a horror movie kind of tactic. We wasn't talking about cutting people's tongues off and all that crazy stuff.
I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk
So
about
I'm just
that.
like, okay.
We have to talk about Rampage
Yes,
before we go into
we have
this.
to talk about Rampage.
So we do have a trailer for this, very short and sweet.
Yeah.
And this is the third time that Dwayne Johnson is teaming up with Brad Payne. And here's the trailer.
This was like King Kong gone wrong.
Pretty much. Okay.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then, right. So I went to see this movie before the premiere. I got invited to the premiere.
I remember.
Someone actually invited me to go to an early screening with them, which I'm very grateful for. And my initial reaction when I got out of the movie, and this is 100% honest, I said in my review, was, wow, that was bad. And then what happened was, no, this is interesting because you're
I'm
gonna.
laughing at you because what consistently happens on this show is that I'll be like, sometimes I don't know a movie is bad, but I just don't want to say anything bad about it. And I'll be like, well, and I always try to find a redeeming quality, and you're like, it was bad.
No. But here's the thing. That was my initial reaction. And then I thought about it, like I slept on it, and that's the great thing about not having an embargo lift that the very same day that you get out of a movie.
Oh,
right?
and let's explain to people that are watching this that don't know what an embargo lift is.
Yes.
So an embargo lift is where the publicists and the studios have told you cannot talk about this or print a review online or video before a specific date. So that's what an embargo is, for those of you that don't know. For those of you that do, then, hey, All right.
So that was really nice about this movie because I feel like sometimes I go see movies and the embargo lifts like the next day or like within like 12 hours after the movie. So I don't really have enough time to really reflect on it. But upon reflecting on this movie, I kind of will still admit that it's a very dumb movie, but it's supposed to be. Like it's big dumb fun.
Is it King Kong gone wrong?
It's based on a video game, which is I don't know if you have ever have you gone to an arcade, Carla?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Yes, I've gone to an arcade, and my games of choice, because I'm about to date myself, were like Pac-Man, and Mario Brothers, and stuff like that. But
did you play Mortal Kombat when you?
No, I ain't played no Mortal Kombat. That's stuff where they shooting guns. I'm like, no.
So. The basic plot of the game is that there's mutated monsters. They climb up buildings. They smash the building falls down. They walk to the next building, crush people along the way. So when you take that idea and you watch this movie, you're like, holy crap, they nailed it, because that's all there is to the movie and to the video game. So it works for that. So I called it the ultimate monster movie because I felt like that's what it is. It's just Dwayne Johnson being charming as always. He smiles, he looks good, he flexes, he does his thing. And
does he raise his eyebrow too?
Oh, of course he does. Of course he does. And then he goes, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who pretty much plays the same.
I love him.
I know, but he plays the same character from, what's his name on Walking Dead? What's his name? I can't. Negan. Yeah.
I told you I don't do nothing horror, so I do not do the Walking Dead.
But he plays Negan from Walking Dead in this movie, and the chemistry between them is fun. And the monsters and everything are great. I do have issues with the story because it tries to actually give the movie some story that it doesn't really need. Like it could just be big and dumb and fun, but they try to like add this plot and like, Naomi Harris is a research scientist who was like lost her job because she revealed that the company was bad and like that kind of stuff. Like it didn't need to be there. It should have just been like, here's a virus, the gorilla got it, a bunch of other animals got it. Go ahead, Dwayne Johnson.
But at least Naomi got to redeem herself from Moonlight. She wasn't playing a crackhead mama. So, I mean, there's that.
And then that other movie with Will Smith that everyone loves so much.
I don't know.
Collateral.
Collateral Beauty.
Yeah, that movie. Everyone loved that one.
Yeah, well.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you've seen Brad Payton's other movies where, like, they just kind of follow, like, a formula of we're big, we're loud, we're fun, you're going to like this movie. It's not the greatest movie. It's not the worst movie. As I said many times already, it's big, dumb fun. So, and it's the most outrageous movie I think Dwayne Johnson's been in so far. Because it's like, he just keeps upping the ante, I feel like. Like, he's like, I'm going to just take this next role because it's more ridiculous than my last one.
You know what? I love him. He is a brown man taking over Hollywood.
I love
one
him
peck
too.
at a time.
I think he's amazing. I think he's a freaking
He
amazing.
is a brown man taking over Hollywood one pack at a time. I am happy to see him having some fun, some big dumb fun. And
Yeah.
speaking of big dumb fun, well, not dumb fun, but fun anyway. Conversations with Maria Menounos comes on every Friday, podcast edition on Sirius and iTunes. It drops every Friday on iTunes, actually. And it features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secret tips and stuff that makes you better in your life. But is everything from health and wellness to career, finances, and Maria can be the big sister that you always wanted. She's our big sister here at Black Hollywood Live and one of the founders along with Kevin Undergirl. So go to iTunes and subscribe there. Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment when you do, and let Maria know that Scott Menzel and Carla Renata from Black Tomatoes at BHL Online sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out. So now, to talk about some more fun, we wanted to have a little conversation about movies based on video games.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just say that although I haven't really seen that many movies based on video games. I saw Tomb Raider, and I think that's based on a video game, right? So I saw that, and I'm the voice on Grand Theft Auto on, I think, number 6 and 7, Liberty something or another, Liberty City, I think is the voice. I'm the voice on there, and I don't even remember my character's name, but I just know I'm the voice on Grand Theft Auto in 6 and 7 edition. But I just, because video games are more popular with the generation behind me, it's not really my thing, but there have been a considerable amount of them made into motion pictures.
Right.
Are
there any that you've seen?
Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that one. I was going to say that. Did you see Angry Birds?
I did see Angry Birds.
There you go.
And I saw the Emoji Movie, which that's not really a video game. Okay, I like the Emoji Movie. I thought it was cute. I did.
No.
I thought it was really cute. I did.
Carla.
I told you, I thought it was really cute. I thought it had a cute little story. I was all about the Emoji Movie, and everybody else hated me because I liked the Emoji Movie. Me and my mom went, and we were like, oh, that was so cute. And people were like, are you on crack? I'm like, no, but I like the Emoji Movie.
Did you see Prince of Persia?
No. I clearly didn't see Mortal Kombat.
Right. That's what I was going to say. You didn't
I didn't see
that?
Resident Evil.
All right.
I didn't see Hitman. I didn't see any of those. I didn't see... Yeah, I saw Lara Croft. I like Lara Croft. That's like my favorite.
The one with Angelina Jolie or the new one?
I like either one.
Okay.
I like either one.
Okay.
I just, this is my thing. I just like seeing a girl on the screen kicking butt. I'm like, there is a girl on the screen kicking butt. We don't see it that often. I talked about Taraji kicking butt at the beginning of the show, and now Angelina Jolie did it in Lara Croft, and now we got Alicia Vikander doing it. And so, I'm all about the girls kicking butt. But the video game thing, I haven't seen that many films based on them. You clearly have, because you got a video game shirt on.
That's right. That's right. I wore it. Just for this
You're
show.
like, that's my thing, and I'm going to talk about it.
Hey, here's the thing. I'm kind of like, it's funny because you talk about like not being really into video games and missing it.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with the Atari, Nintendo.
I grew up with that too.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and then right when it got to like the PlayStation and the first Xbox is when I started dropping off.
Yeah, when the Xbox rolled around, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Like when Halo came out, and they're like, oh yeah, you can play a first-person shooter, and I'm like, nope, I'm all right. I'm like, I just want to play with Mario and like have him run around and jump on things and jump on Yoshi and all that other crap.
And I tried to go for Candy Crush, but that hasn't been made into a movie. I tried.
Don't worry, don't give him any ideas.
I tried with Candy Crush, and I'm just like, oh, I can't do this.
Well, I mean, the whole thing started. I mean, video games were very popular in the 80s, obviously, and the most popular video game was obviously Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Which became the first ever video game movie.
Which was so cute. It was the cutest thing. It was the cutest thing ever. The little man with his little hat. It was cute. Shut up, Scott.
I know. You're like, I mean... It's funny because that movie, here's the thing with that movie. I felt like there was no way of actually making that into a movie, and they tried. And I give them credit for it because, Bob Hoskins as Mario and John Leguizamo as Luigi, they
I
kind of
think he
looked
just passed this year too, didn't he?
Bob Hoskins?
I think he
a
did.
long time ago.
Oh, a long time
time
ago.
ago.
Oh, why
Couple
did I think
years ago.
Oh, okay. So I'm not that far off. I was like, you looked at me like, dang,
No,
girl,
it wasn't.
he been gone for 50 years.
No,
Where you
no,
been?
No. It hasn't been that long, but it's been at least 3 or 4.
That was pure comedy.
But they were, looking at them cast in that role, that was fine. But then, Dennis Hopper as King Koopa was, I don't know how I felt about that. Yeah, but again, it just should have been made into a movie, and then you had Double Dragon and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and those were all flops. And then you had, like you were talking about, Lara Croft.
Tomb Raider, baby.
Which was pretty much Angelina Jolie, let's be honest, let's call it how it is, trying to be Indiana Jones, looking sexy as hell. That's what that movie.
Okay, you're a guy, so you would look at it that way. I would have never looked at it that way until you brought that to my attention.
The studios obviously looked at it that way.
But that's kind of what it was.
That shirt was tight. Those shorts were short. So.
Oh my God, I can't. Oh, you're making my face hurt laughing at you. Oh my goodness. You called a spade a spade. It's the truth.
And that's why. What was the controversy around this new movie?
None.
Oh, her boobs are not big enough. Oh,
they said her boobs weren't big enough? That's stupid.
Yeah,
her boobs are not acting. Her face is.
Right,
like, really?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But
Will
that
we
was
ever
one
get
of
away
the-
from the sexism in Hollywood? I don't think so.
we won't. No, we won't.
That is so annoying.
And how about? I'm guessing you never saw the 1800 Resident Evil movies.
Oh
either.
hell no.
Yeah, like those were movies. That was Mila Jovovich.
That was Kate Beckinsale, right?
No, that's Underworld.
Underworld.
Which
I told
is
you.
essentially like the same movie. So don't worry about it.
I was like, it looked like the same thing to me.
Yeah. Trust me, after a while, it felt like the same thing. But it's like Mila Jovovich, and it's like her husband directed all those movies. So it's like, okay, put her in this movie, keep it down. And then we had Yui Ball, who did all those terrible direct-to-video movies, House of the Dead. And I mean, it really took a long time. I'm kind of going through this. I mean, we had Dwayne Johnson was in Doom, which was not a very big success. And, Resident Evil was like the only one that kind of came out. And then bringing back, did you see Max Payne with...
No, I
okay.
purposely didn't see that one.
Okay.
That looked crazy as hell. I'm like, I can't.
Maybe one you saw, Need for Speed. Did you see that one with the guy from Breaking Bad?
No.
I didn't see that one either. I think at that point,
I told
like
you,
I was
me in the video game movies, I'm like,
but I figured, that looked like Fast and Furious. Like that was just like, oh, Fast and the Furious is popular right now. This guy's popular from Breaking Bad. Let's put it in a movie.
No.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know about that.
So essentially, what I'm getting at is like we went through all these movies, and I mean.
So which ones would you say, in your opinion, since you're like the video game film expert, which ones would you say are the best ones, and which ones would you say were the worst ones?
I mean, that's a tough question.
The collective side.
That is really a tough question.
Would you say Tomb Raider would rate up there with some of the best ones?
I would say if I had to label the best video game movies, I would. And I know this is controversial, but I would say that the latest Tomb Raider movie that came out is probably number one.
Oh, really?
Just because none of these other movies really wowed me in any way.
What about the original Tomb Raider?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Scott.
Go back and watch it now. It doesn't
I see
hold up.
It comes on TV all the time.
Yeah, you watch it still?
Yeah. Look, it's like Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie.
like-
When it comes on TV, it's like The Color Purple or Boomerang for me. I will watch it all the time. I will watch it all the
at least
time.
you had other good movies there. You watch Coming to America too. What is
of course.
That movie's amazing.
Of course, I watch it every time it comes on. But speaking of Boomerang is, I know Boomerang is celebrating the anniversary, and BET is going to make it into a TV series.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's what I said. I was like, this movie is pretty iconic. I don't know how I feel about that being a TV series. I really, like, what are they going to do? Like, Boomerang ended with Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry's character walking down the street and her basically threatening him if he turned around to watch that girl who who iconically was walking so slow. She looked like she was walking through molasses. I'm like, seriously though? Like that's how it
That's
ended.
what you
So
gotta
what are they
love
gonna
about
do?
the 80s and 90s. They just have those long takes where everything is drawn out, and you're just kind of like, oh,
But
you're
I'm
just
just
gonna show
like-
her walking? Okay,
But I'm
that's
just
fine.
like, what are they gonna do? And then it has that iconic soundtrack with Tony Braxton's voice on it. Most of that film for me was the soundtrack and Grace Jones and Eartha Kitt. Like there were all these iconic, African American people in them. Like Eartha Kitt was iconic because she was the first black woman to play Catwoman in the Batman franchise. So there
yes.
was that. Grace Jones was iconic because she's Grace Jones. Like she's Grace Jones. She has a documentary coming out this week too. I think it's called, I want to say bombastic, but I know that's wrong. But I'll talk about something close to that. But I'll talk about that next week because I cannot wait to see it. It is going to be hilarious because she is out of pocket. And did you know? Okay, so trivia.
Yeah.
Did you know that Bishop Noah Jones is Grace Jones's brother?
No.
Yeah. So there's that. She has a minister for a brother.
Wow.
Grace Jones. Put that in your pipe and smoke it for a second. So there's that. And then that was one of the first films with Halle Berry. And this is the thing. So I was watching it again and I thought, why does Halle Berry not do more comedy? She's freaking funny. There's that scene in Boomerang where her and David Alan Grier had this date and they never ordered dinner because he was too indecisive. So he gets in the elevator. She had one of those apartments in New York where the elevator comes right up into the apartment. So he's getting in the elevator to leave, and they keep trying to say goodbye, and they keep doing it in different languages. And at one point, she busts out Korean. She says goodbye, see you later in Korean, because at the time that the movie came out, it was this big deal. Like somebody got shot in a Korean store or something. So she busts out this Korean, and it was the look on her face when she did it. It was
That sold it?
yeah. Well, that plus the fact that it was the way her pronunciation and everything was kind of right on it. And I was like, what? And I thought, oh, okay, Halle Berry. And then she was in Babs. Remember Babs?
Yes.
She
Yes.
was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I'm thinking she didn't do a lot of comedy.
She didn't have a lot of success with it, I feel like.
Really? She only did 3.
Yeah, I
What'd she
know.
do? The Flintstones, Boomerang, and Babs? That's
Well, Babs did not do well.
No, but
Flintstones
she was funny, though.
like,
it. Flintstones was what it was. But she's funny.
yeah.
And
I
I'm
mean,
just like,
that's what I think it is. Like people get too typecasted in movies all the time.
I think she got typecast because of the way she looks. Like, I think if she didn't look like the ex-beauty queen that she is, Halle Berry, I think they probably would have investigated some more comedic projects for her. But because she looks the way that she looks, I think sometimes Hollywood thinks that people that are pretty like that can't be funny.
Do you remember? I'm surprised with we're in the time of the Me Too and all that stuff right
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm amazed that no story has come out about Swordfish. Do you remember that movie?
I do.
Swordfish
Ooh, you went back.
Yeah, Swordfish was the movie where they marketed the whole entire movie based on the fact that she got topless in it. I just remember watching that because I was young enough at that time where I remembered like that was something that I cared about. Like, oh my God, this person's gonna show their boobs. Oh my God, can I go see striptease because she's gonna show
you
her
did not
boobs?
break out striptease. That was the worst movie
Oh, it's so
ever.
terrible. It's so terrible.
Oh my God, that movie
But I
was so
just
bad.
remember watching all the promotion because I've been in the movie so long, and I remember watching the promotion for Swordfish,
Mm-hmm.
and she went on like a award show, and she's like, "Well, if you see Swordfish, you can see these," and I'm like,
Oh no, she said
did that? Yeah.
Ooh,
I'm
what
sure
was after
someone
that
could
one?
find it on YouTube. I'm sure it's on there.
Wow.
So I'm amazed that nothing has come out about her and how much like they like exposed her in that movie just to sell it.
Well, they did the same thing with her in the James Bond movie. Remember they kept showing that clip of her.
Die Another Day.
Yeah,
Yes.
remember they kept showing that clip of her coming out of the
Oh, the
ocean.
water,
Like that's all she did in the
yeah.
whole movie. I'm like, and coming out of the ocean with the knife
Oh,
on the
yes,
side.
yeah,
and I
yeah,
was just
yeah.
like, come on now. I just feel like she's a smart cookie.
Yeah.
She's a really smart cookie, and she made some really smart producing decisions in terms of films. Like some of the films were okay, but she made really good decisions in terms of she's smart in the respect that she knows that Hollywood is very youth driven. So even somebody as beautiful as she is has a day where people are not checking for you anymore. And so she started going behind the scenes. She produced that I can't remember I think it was called The Wedding. It was a book based, it was a TV movie based on the Dorothy West book.
Okay.
And Halle Berry produced that with Oprah Winfrey, and they put that on ABC a long time ago. And then she produced Lackawanna Blues. She produced that with Ruben Santiago Hudson and Essie Pather Murkison. And I think Essie Pather Murkison won an Emmy for it. So, and which is really funny because Essie Pather Murkison had been on Law and Order for 5,000 years and never even got nominated for an Emmy, and she won it for a TV movie produced by Halle Berry. So, and then Halle Berry produced the movie for which she won the Emmy, introducing Dorothy Dandridge. So she's a smart cookie, and I feel like Hollywood just doesn't give her the credit that she deserves, nor do they do any of the women that are directing and producing. They don't do it for Angelina Jolie. I think Catherine
Bigelow.
She's the only one that they kind of sort of give a little credence to, but the rest of those dolls, they ignore them.
And that's because she came on, well, two people. I would also argue Sofia Coppola. But it's also because the names sell them. Okay, so like, oh, it's Coppola, you have to sell that name.
But even with that name, they still don't give her no love. They still give her no love. I mean, what was it, Lost in Translation?
Oh, I love that movie.
They were like, oh, it's such a great movie, and then she got no love. And I'm like, how it's just like with Ben Affleck and Argo. How are you going to go on and on and on about how fantabulous a movie is and ignore the director? It happened to Steven Spielberg with The Color Purple. Like, how can you do that? I don't understand that. That boggles my mind. But it's particularly blatantly gross when it comes to women in the industry,
absolutely.
in directing and producing. They go, oh yeah, they directed and produced this, and then they go on to the next. I'm like, can y'all just like pause for a second and give these women the credit that they're due? Because whether it's a male or a female, producing and directing is really hard work. Can we just acknowledge them the same way we acknowledge the men? That's kind of annoying to me.
Right.
But I say all that to say that, I'm one of Halle Berry's biggest fans, and people go in on her all the time.
You love Kidnapped.
I love Halle Berry.
Yeah.
I think Halle Berry is one of the smartest women in Hollywood. I really do, for a variety of different reasons. And I just think that she doesn't get the accolades that I feel like she should get in the industry for what she does behind the scenes, and not so much in front of the camera, but behind the scenes. She produces some stuff that people don't even talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, can we just like give her some props and some accolades for a second? We giving you props and accolades here, Black Tomatoes, Halle Berry, because I think you're the bomb. But yeah, Boomerang. In this anniversary, coming on TV at BET. Check it out.
I still don't know how. It's funny how we did a really big circle somehow.
That's all right.
I don't know how we did that, but that's
right.
fine. I liked it.
That's all right. We did a big circle. We did.
But I mean, I feel like this. Maybe we should talk briefly about this. Is that what's your feelings on the whole fact that they just keep trying to revamp everything and these like sequels that are
to
movies that are like so old? Like next week there's a movie coming out called Super Troopers 2, which I just saw the trailer for, and it looks, in my opinion, horrendous. But I remember the first movie. The movie was fine. It was a stoner comedy. It was what it was. But do we really need a sequel?
But they do the same thing on Broadway too.
Oh my God!
I mean, this is the thing. If the film made millions upon billions of dollars, then yeah, it might warrant a sequel. People might want to see what happens in the next chapter of that particular story. But with some of these films, like you said,
but I'm talking about these. No, I'm talking about like Boomerang, for example. Something that's so long. I'll go. Do we really need it again?
I don't. If they were going to redo the film, I would be like, yeah, y'all need to leave that alone. It was fine the first time around. But to make it into a TV series, even I said when I first started out, I don't know how that's going to work, because the film, when it ended, was very finite. So it's only so much you can do around the story of Marcus and Angela in that film. And Robin Gibbons' character is a non-entity by the time the film ends. So it's just like, I don't know how much more you could do. But what I do find actually very interesting and intriguing about it, on a positive note, is it will be a project that will show upwardly mobile African-American people on television. I wish it wasn't going to be on BET. I wish it was on another network. But, and not to say that BET won't do a good job with it, but BET is on cable. And if they were going to do Boomerang as a TV series and put it on network television, then it would have more eyeballs on it because it's not cable. Not everybody can afford cable. Not everybody can afford a Roku or a Chromecast or a Apple TV to stream stuff. So having said that, I mean, it would be nice to see upwardly mobile Black people on television in a different light, and executives are starting to do better with that. But I don't know if I want to see that as a TV series.
I mean, this is going back to our conversation last week. I think this is where Netflix is really leading the way in terms of their shows that they put out. I mean, you're seeing a lot of diversity on there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been numerous shows focusing on the Hispanic community that people are talking about.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Yeah, they're getting picked up,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting repeat seasons over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that, and
It
I
is.
agree with you.
It is.
You know, there's been a studio. You know, Blackish is the only show that I can think of where it's primarily like it's an all Black cast, right? I mean,
Yeah, it is.
on a network channel. What else is there?
I mean, you have ABC in terms of network television is the one network that does a really good job about
Diversity in
diversity
general.
across the board.
Yeah.
So they have Blackish, they have Fresh Off the Boat.
Right.
They're gonna have Most Likely To, which stars my good girlfriend Yvette Nicole Brown and Donald Faison and some Broadway people. That's one of the pilots that's being shot. I don't know if they're going to pick that up or not, but that's going to be a whole Black family there.
Oh, good.
Yvette was on The Mayor, and that was a Black show on ABC.
That
So,
last
I mean, you know, I have to say that now more so than 20 years ago or when I came to Hollywood, it's a little bit better now than it has been, but, you know,
there's still a lot of
it's still a lot of room to grow and a lot of work to do. And, you know, on that note, that brings us to the end of this show. That was fast, right?
Yes, it was.
So next week, y'all, we're going to talk about I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer. You can already tell Scott going to have something to say about that. And we're going to we're going to talk about Traffic, which is directed by Dion Taylor, and he's going to be in studio with us. So if you have some questions for him and questions for us, you can go to the chat room at Black Tomatoes on Black Hollywood Live on the YouTube channel and let us know so that we can prepare and give those questions to Mr. Dion. And as usual, you can find me online at the Curvy Film Critic. Don't forget to go to iTunes, give us those 5-star ratings, go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And where can we find you, Scott?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook at The Other Scott M, as well as Instagram. And then if you want to read any of my content, which is reviews and interviews, go to WeLiveEntertainment.com.
All right. I am Carla Renata, the Curvy Film Critic. We will catch you next week for episode 9 of Black Tomatoes. Peace.
Bye.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.